Do you have a theme song?
Start a theme song?
Yeah.
No, I just start the intro like this. Hey, everybody. My name is Joe Winchell, and this is Millennial Stoner. I am the Millennial Stoner, and I'd like to thank everybody who's been, right off the bat, I'd like to just thank everybody who's been viewing and watching. Our Billy McGuire episode got up to 200 views, and that's awesome. I appreciate it. I hope that's a view of the whole thing, not just the first 10 minutes, because that's a great episode. But I just want to thank everybody, man. Almost got lost in conversation before we started. My guest today is a comedian, a guy I've worked with a few times, a guy I think is very funny. Ladies and gentlemen that are not here, just me. My guest today is Alex Bradley.
Hi, everybody. I love you.
Off to a great. This is your first podcast?
First ever podcast.
This is your first ever podcast?
Yeah. And I believe I'm the first white guy on here, right? Diversity.
You are the first. Yeah, you are the first white guy I thought of when I did this, but not the first guy I had on.
Okay.
I will say that.
I think you should have a theme song.
I do have a theme song.
You do?
Yeah, I just added in later. It's like a little beat thing because it's
just like a little doo-doo-doo-doo
yeah.
thing,
But I used to do different music. Like I'd be like, fuck it, because if I found there's like a loophole where if you play like 10 seconds of a song, like then they can't really, you know what I mean? Like they can't really like sue you or say that you're infringing on anything.
Well, you
or
should
anything
do
like
original
that.
song.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start reaching out. That's part of the process. Is like, thanks for coming on here, Mister. I did a first podcast ever, and you're like, you should be doing this.
I'm a long time listener, first time caller, and I've got thoughts. You should just do it live.
Do it live? What do you mean? Like just live at a bar?
No, right. Like just sing the song.
Send it to. I should
what
just
kind of genre? Like name a genre.
What kind of genre of music do you like?
I told you. I don't know. You choose it. What kind of genre do you think the theme song should be?
I don't know. Either punk, heavy metal, or hip hop, which is my three favorite genres of music.
You get some like
not rapcore.
He's the Millennial Stoner. No. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think
he's gonna get stoned. No. You know? Smell that aroma. Down.
I think you should
coming out of his home. Down.
Chris, did you record that? All right, now you're the theme song for Millennial Stoner.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have Chris put backing music. That was great. I didn't have to write any music. I'm not gonna sing that. You did it. It's like you just played. It's like you just played "Hey Jude" in front of me, and I'm like, "That's amazing." I'm just gonna do that. It's like, no, that's your song, man.
No, that's.
Well, I do want to. I'm gonna start reaching out to I'm gonna try and find like local music people and be like, hey man, I'll make you the theme. Like literally, I'll be like just 20-second theme song, like a 30-second theme song.
Yeah.
Something I can play right in the beginning. You know.
Yeah.
So if any musical people are out here listening, I would love to take your submissions or reach out to me and maybe we can do something with that.
All right.
So, but this is enough about my podcast. I'm going to talk about you, man.
Cool.
I met you I know you for about a year at this point.
Something like that.
About that, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
I saw you came down to the Aragona's open mic.
Yeah, Round 2 pub.
It was the Round 2. The Round 2 pub.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Round 2 pub. You've always been an interesting mic.
True.
So my friend Billy McGuire almost got into a fist fight there with a guy one time.
Yeah.
And the guy was being very impolite to Billy. I would like to say that. Billy
was there.
Patient. It's right. You were there.
And you know, it was weird. This was in Bohemia, New York. And this guy was British.
He was British?
Yeah.
I heard a lot of screaming. I didn't
hear. Did you see?
I walked in while Billy was on the mic and he was pissed.
Billy McGuire goes up to start the mic and he just says, all right, everybody, this is, Round 2 pub, give yourself a hand or whatever. And this British guy in a Hawaiian shirt, shorts, gray hair, ponytail.
That's exactly. I didn't know he was British.
Playing like an arcade in the corner. He just turns around and he shouts, before Billy McGuire starts telling jokes, he says, say something funny, mate. And
I feel like to any comedian, I don't know. Did anybody ever say that to you?
What?
Say, it was like, what do you, if you're like at a show, like sometimes I'll do a restaurant show and then I'll walk out like the room we're in, I have to walk to the bar is like an outside thing. Yeah. So like to go to the bar to get like like food or just like a drink or like water or some shit. And then like there'll be people not in the show there. And the first thing that I'm like, hey, they're like, what do you do? If they strike up any conversation with me, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm doing the comedy show. I'm one of the comedians. So oh, say something funny. And I was like, go fuck yourself, man. Like,
if I could say funny things that easily, I wouldn't be doing a show here.
I wouldn't be right. I'd be famous. I'd be in fucking Beverly Hills with my new friends and family. Like, but yeah, I get that all the time. But yeah, that dude, I didn't see that. I came in when Billy was just doing. I came in a couple minutes after the mic started, and the dude was antagonizing the shit out of Billy.
Yeah.
I was like, I went to him like, what's going on? And then the whole craziness ensued.
You're not funny, mate. That's what
Yeah, then he started saying that because I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And then everybody else
But
Billy,
everybody else was into the show except him.
yeah. Well, he started doing that before Billy even started telling jokes.
Yeah.
And then he was just like saying that the whole time, and like Billy got mad and like walked outside. And then everybody who went after, he was saying like, "You're funny." He wasn't funny. Like
he kept antagonizing. He was just doing it to piss Billy off, and that's why I'm like, this guy sucks. Like, this is not, So round two, Pup. Thanks for always having a great mic.
Yeah.
Do you still do the mic there? You did a mic there? No more.
For several months.
It's exactly the length of time. Billy did a mic there for like 2 months or like a month.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's a very local bar. It's just a very local bar. But I met you at the Round Two Pub.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, how long have you been doing like stand up?
Like 4 or 5 years, I guess.
Did you start in college?
Yeah.
How old are you?
How old am I now?
Yeah.
23.
You're 23.
My birthday was yesterday.
You're the youngest guest I think I've ever had in the show.
Oh.
Yeah. Your birthday was yesterday. I wish you a happy birthday. That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you've been doing it for, at this point, 4 years, you said?
4.5.
4.5, something like that?
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
How long have you been doing it?
Me, I'm at about 5 years now.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the reasons, like, I'm older than you, but I started, because I started, when I was 29, 30.
Uh-huh.
I'm 34 now, almost 35. And, yeah, like I remember when I first talked to you, you're like, oh, I've only been doing it for X amount of time, which was very comforting because you meet a lot of people who are your age, but been doing it longer. So it's, not that I don't respect that, but it's just weird. It's a weird dynamic. And to kind of meet somebody like you that was like, oh, I'm kind of just doing this as well. I'm like, oh, awesome and everything. And that was one of the things I liked. And I like your material, man.
Thank you very much.
Because you remind me of like, you have that like Mitch Hepburn kind of like.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, like you do. Like, but where does like do you have inspirations? Is like what?
I guess I have lots of inspirations, like anybody does.
Like comedians, though.
Yeah, no, comically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watch a pretty like diverse range of stuff, I guess, and I kind of.
That's good.
And I kind of like, you kind of try to imitate stuff a little bit sometimes.
Oh, and then, absolutely, yeah.
And then you kind of. From the practice of imitating it, you sort of like, what's the word? You sort of get into a habit of doing things like the right way, yeah. And then you can sort of just make your own thoughts you just make them into jokes, and they're sort of like an amalgamation of those styles, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think I definitely when I started out, I definitely like mimicked some comedians that I had watched my whole life.
You know who I really like is a Scottish comedian named Kevin Bridges.
I've heard of him, but I've never actually seen his stuff. A lot of those like European comedians, I like. I'm like just finding out about now.
Yeah.
So I'll have to check him out.
I've actually a couple jokes he's really good, and a couple jokes I've written like imagining him doing them, and then I just. Like with an accent, and then I just make them into an American accent.
Wait, do you do a Scottish accent?
I mean, I do it.
You dabble in voices like a little bit.
I have to do his accent to write that joke, write jokes as him.
Right, in the accent.
I have done that a couple times.
That's like was that method stand up? Was like I have to write in the accent in order to.
Like I have this joke about what's it about? Like those CAPTCHA. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know what you just said.
When you
keyboards.
Nah, you log into a website,
man,
and it makes you
so we can play charades together.
and it makes you identify things.
You told me about this joke where it's like, select all the fire hydrants in the picture. Prove you're not a robot. Those things.
I wrote that in a Scottish accent. It was
prove you're not a robot.
And it says the other way, you prove you're not a robot.
That's not bad.
Identify crosswalks.
Hey, identify crosswalks. That's great.
Apparently the one thing no robot could ever do. Identify crosswalks. That's Kevin Bridges.
I think you should do from now on.
Just be Scottish.
Yeah, and just but like only on stage.
Yeah, and then I get off stage and I was like, thanks.
Hey man, I'm Alex. What? And then you go up there. It's like, how's everybody doing tonight?
My name is Alex. I'm from Glasgow. Now, people in Scotland would have laughed at that because in Scotland, if you say something funny, people are going to laugh.
It's like a throwback. She was like, no, it's a character I do. You have to understand. Like Alex from Scotland. He's not Alex Bradley. That's your inside the actor studio thing. So like you're like that. What your influence is that one of the guys that you're like, oh, a
little bit. Yeah. I like Mitch Hedberg. I like Eddie Murphy.
I love Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
I still will rewatch Raw to this day and be like, it's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
And he didn't do that much stand up, but
he did. No, the thing is, he did a lot of stand up early on, and then he became a huge star.
Yeah,
and then it was like that's why like everybody
he hasn't done stand up in a long time.
No, but that's why everybody's been clamoring the last couple of years because he's been like hanging out with Chappelle and shit.
And he keeps saying he's gonna do stand up.
Yeah, but I had heard like right before the pandemic started, I had heard that he had secretly done like one or two drop-ins, like a rumor like in California and everything that he was gonna and he was going to New York and he was gonna like go down to the cellar and like do some time and shit, which I was like, oh my god, because I was like gonna buy tickets to the cellar and be like, hey, maybe he might be in here because like to see an Eddie Murphy like that's like a fucking elusive beast at this point, man. To see him work shit out, that'd be dope for me. I'd love to see that shit.
If he did a special,
that's what everybody's saying. Like
I would love
he's doing it to lead into a special he works on.
To be honest, I don't really be watching stand up like that.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm weird
but
like
if
that.
Eddie Murphy had a special, I would watch it very quickly.
Oh, yeah, because it's Eddie Murphy. You got the name for it and everything.
Yeah.
It's like guys that had clout like that. He's also like he did the two specials. He did Delirious and Raw. They're awesome. And then that's it. And then he just was Beverly Hills Cop and Metro and
Coming to America after
and that.
Shrek.
And hey, man, don't shit on Shrek. Shrek money paid good. That first Shrek's great.
Yeah.
But like after that, not so much. I understand.
You know what? I saw the credits to the last Shrek movie. I didn't see the movie.
I don't think I saw the last Shrek movie.
I didn't either. I just saw the credits. And it made me tear up a little bit.
What do you mean?
It's just like there's sort of like a montage of like all the
Shreks,
all the things, all the iconic Shrek moments, and they had Stevie Wonder's "For Once in My Life, I had someone who needs me," and I was just thinking,
you're doing other voices right now.
I was just thinking about everything that Shrek has been through.
I love that you turned the channels and you were like, "Oh, what was it? Shrek 5, whatever it is." It was Shrek 5. There's the credits, huh? Stevie Wonder?
I was like,
shit, Shrek's been through a lot of stuff, man.
I mean, he started in the swamps and it's just so beautiful when you think about it.
Falling halfway through the Alex, you okay, man? He started in the swamps, now he's here, man.
Say what you will about that movie, I don't know, but the credits are fire.
I don't think I've ever seen it, but like I guess that was like they usually do that when it's like the end of a series.
Yeah.
Like, which you never know when that is anymore. Like, because it used to be 3. 3 was always the trilogy was always a very round number in cinema. But then they were like, nah, fuck that. We'll make like 9.
Yeah.
And then eventually they have to do one ultimate one, and they'll be like, that's it. And they'll do like Jackass. They did like all of the. I remember Jackass 3D because like this was like a reunion movie. The last one they did, but Jackass 3D they did like everybody had like their fucking baby pictures at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the first thing they ever filmed for Jackass, which I'm not going to lie, made me tear up a little bit. I was like, oh man, I remember that's the first time I smoked weed. I was sitting there with my friend Henry and we watched Johnny Knoxville go on rocket skates. I remember that.
I mean, at least you're crying about your own memories. I was crying about Shrek's memories.
Oh wait, you were like, Shrek, man.
I was like, Shrek's been through a lot.
Man, he met Donkey.
Yeah. They didn't like each other at first.
Yeah, they didn't like each other. He fell in love. He kicked that little midget guy.
I'm a flying, talking donkey. That's Donkey's first line.
We're just going to talk. That's Donkey's first line. I'm a flying, talking donkey.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be Chris Farley originally.
As Shrek?
Yeah, there's an animatic. Animatic, what the fuck? I don't know. I'm high. There's an animatic, whatever, where it's like the pencil drawing.
Yeah.
And it's his voice, him doing the lines. And it's like, oh, fuck. It's like, it's not that it's not Shrek because he like,
it's
Michael
different.
Myers did such an outlandish accent for him. It's just Chris Farley voicing him. He's like not doing an accent. And you're like, oh, I get like this. That's when you realize that they had developed the character for him a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of understand the design of Shrek and everything.
Yeah.
So I always thought that's why Michael Myers was like, I'm going to do something so outlandish because I'm not Chris Farley, nor am I as funny as Chris Farley.
Yeah, I heard that he decided to do the accent like halfway, like when they were already done recording everything.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And they had to like redo everything.
I felt that's why, I think that's one of the reasons too, is because he's like, I'm not bringing anything to it.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't know, I've never considered Michael Myers an amazing actor. So like, I love Wayne's World, but like, I'm not like, give this man an Oscar.
I'm glad that there's a podcast out there where people can hear Shrek analysis.
Oh man.
You know what? I think Mike Myers' decision here was really critical to Shrek.
Hey man, this is what happens when I smoke weed. This is why it's called Millennial Stoner. Everybody's asked like, you don't talk about weed a whole lot. And I'm like, that's not the point.
I got you. Yeah.
The point is I have conversation. This is originally I was going to call the podcast Legos to Lightspeed. Because one time me and my best friend James got high and we were watching the Lego documentary and there was a giant Lego X-Wing. And I was like, and it was like life size. It was like in Times Square. Do you remember that when they did that in Times Square?
No.
Oh, they did it in Times Square. It was pretty cool.
Sounds very cool.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I was like, oh, I remember seeing like news articles about it and shit. It was like a life size X-Wing. They made it out of Legos, like entirely. And we were there, and I was just like, do you think like that would work? In like, imagine flying that thing. It's like Lightspeed would never work though. I'm like, what is Lightspeed? You go really fast. What if you hit a rock? It's going to tear the wing off. Then we started analyzing how Lightspeed works. We looked up clips on YouTube in an hour, and I'm like, that's what Millennial Stoner is. That's what it is. I just like to get high and be like, you know, peanut butter could save your life one day, and here's how. I don't know. Like,
but you have to tell me how.
I don't know yet. Maybe it can. It could. Maybe.
I'm sure there are situations. Somebody says, "Hey, give me some peanut butter. Give me all the peanut butter you have."
What do you want? Money? No, I don't want no money. I want that extra chunky peanut butter. What? It's like you got some Jiffy on you? No. Extra chunky peanut butter makes it sound like he wants you to shit in his mouth. I don't think.
Oh.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah. But like.
But if you whipped out some extra chunky peanut butter, he can't really be mad.
It has to be specific though. That you like. It's like he asked for something weird like Peter Pan. I'm like, what? Peter Pan? I got Jiffy. Nah, I don't eat Peter Pan. What? House do you live in? What do you have? Hunt's ketchup too?
What are the chances I would have Jiffy? But it's like, no,
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Oh man, this robbery sucks. Man, that's a great way to get off topic from interviewing me about your life. No, but like, so those are your influences, and I like because you have like a very specific brand of comedy.
That's
like
cool.
you do like at least from what I see from you now, working out the mic and everything. I haven't seen you do like a show in a little bit, but I've seen you like work out material, and you do like the reason why you remind me of Hedberg is because you do kind of the short bits. And I like that. Although lately you've been doing some cool longer stuff, and you did a voice recently that I was like, you do fucking some voices too, which is cool. You did like a Donald Trump impersonation in one, which you were like, you asked me, you were like, is it played out? And I'm like, I wouldn't do it, but that's only because I can't do it. I can do some voices. I can't do Donald Trump.
What voice can you do?
What voices? I can do Bobcat Goldthwait. You know who that is?
No idea.
All right, so that means nothing to you.
But do it.
Do you know the guy with the wild voice?
Really
He's the guy with the wild voice. He was in like Police Academy and shit.
I have no idea what.
I
know what Police Academy is.
This is a thing. This is a thing that you and I have. For every time I bring up like stuff I grew up with, you go, I don't know what any of that is.
Is that like is that 1920s stuff?
Bobcat Goldthwait was a comedian.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. He doesn't sound like this anymore, but he used to have this thing where he talked weird. It was like he was on this show, Unhappily Ever After. He voiced a talking rabbit that was in the main character's imagination.
Oh,
yeah, it was about a divorced couple, I think.
Okay,
it was a wacky show, but it was called Mr. Floppy, and he had this one line where he was just like his main character's name was Jack, and it was just like Jack. You know, remember to concentrate on other things, like cooking on dinner naked. Or it's Police Academy as a line in Police Academy. It was like, hey, are you the mayor? I just want you to know I voted for you. That's Bobcat Goldthwait. So that's one of the ones I do.
I think that's accurate.
Do you think that is? If you saw that guy, you'd probably be like, oh, I know who that. Like, I know who that is. Like, I just don't know that. Like,
it does sound familiar now that I hear it.
Yeah, if you ever saw Police Academy 2, I think he's like the bad guy in Police Academy 2, and he's in like a bunch of them. He becomes a cop. He's like the bad guy in Police Academy 2, and then becomes a cop in like 3 or 4. Yeah. It's crazy. It's the weird, wacky police movies that you can never make again. Nobody. Nobody.
True.
Nobody, you know what? And this, with all the shit going on with police, it'd be crazy for me to be like, we're going to remake Police Academy now. Huh? No, it's going to be a wacky, hilarious movie. I'd pay money to see it, though. I'd be like, I got to go see this shit.
Yeah.
But that's what your brand of comedy going on to it. What else? I don't know. Do I do any more voices? You do like a couple. You just did like Stevie Wonder before.
I didn't know I could do that.
I kind of do a Macho
I can
Man.
do
I do a
Stevie
Macho Man.
Wonder's. Oh, I've heard you do that.
Yeah, I do a Macho Man.
That's a good one. Do
It's
it.
not. I need a scenario for Macho Man.
Macho Man robbing somebody for some peanut butter.
Yeah. Put your hands up high, real high. Dig it. Yeah. And let me ask you a question right now. I need you. Right. I need peanut butter. Not Jiffy Lube. It's not bad. It's bad.
That's good.
And I kind of do. I do a lot of wrestler impersonations.
Yeah.
Like that's because I grew up watching wrestling. So it's like I do like Andre the Giant, but it just sounds like somebody swallowing cotton balls.
That's what he sounds like.
Hey, boys, come down here. No baby oil. Go home. That's fine. I'm working on that.
I like that.
But like, do you do it like you did? Do you do anybody else? Because you did Donald Trump. Do you do any other voices?
I don't know if I don't know if there's any voices I specifically do. I just whip them out.
Just whip them out.
Yeah. I've been
It's
trying
weird
to
see voices other than because you did the Donald Trump voice. I'm like, it's weird to see that voice come out of you.
Yeah,
which is.
And I said, I think like when I look in the mirror, I think it's weird to see my actual voice come out of me. Like, I think that if I didn't know what I sounded like and I saw myself, I would think I should sound like, come in.
That's right.
I have goods from all around the world.
If I didn't know you, I think you were going to sell me a rug. Is that what
something like a cursed, like like a cursed heirloom? You know, I look like
this is monkey's paw.
I look like my eyes should light up if somebody mentions an amulet. The amulet. This amulet, did it speak to you? Like I applied for a job at Amazon. I look like I should be applying for a job at a bazaar. You know what I mean?
That's good. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Like some people,
I think
some people come to this country.
I think when a lot of people first met you, because I like right away, I think I found out that like right the first couple times I met you, I was like, what's your nationality? And you're like Greek. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're just white. Cool. Like
some people come to this country and they get new clothes and they look American. And some people come to this country and their great grandkids still look like they should be detained at Ellis Island.
Jesus Christ. Just fresh off the boat look.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know how my last name is Bradley.
Yeah,
it
Alex
definitely
Bradley
had
sounds like
more
a
letters.
dude that used to beat me up in middle school. Like Alex Bradley sounds like the head of the football team. Alex Bradley sounds like he loves Marvel movies and just Marvel movies.
Sounds very blonde.
Yeah,
sounds like the kind of name.
Nazi-ish.
The kind of name that if you like go to a company's directory and you like do like Command F and type in Bradley, it would be like the CEO and like 3 people who are like suspiciously young for the positions they have. You know what I'm saying?
How'd you get this job?
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. But like, yeah, I heard the name and I'm like, Alex. I mean, that dude looks like a Tony. He looks like a Tony. Like, but like, yeah, it does weird.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
A job I had at a restaurant. My name was Alex then. And
as opposed to now, it's Alexander.
Yeah, I told somebody that because they asked me what my name was probably, and I said Alex, but I guess just because how I look, he was convinced my name was Anthony, and he kept saying Anthony, and I was like, hey, what is he? He's not saying Alex, is he? And then one time I was like, by the way, my name is Alex, and he was like, not Anthony.
I got called. Somebody called me Craig once, which I don't know where the fuck that came from.
That just feels like an insult.
Craig, I don't know if it was on purpose. I've had people try to do that thing where they call me that's their way of like getting one over on me. They call someone, usually my last name though. But it's like it's always like so far removed from it. Like one dude had to do that because he didn't like that my best friend was dating his ex-girlfriend or something like that. I did this years ago, and he was running a karaoke show, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, your last name's like Clark, right?" And I'm like, "It's not. It's Winchell."
That's very petty.
Yeah, I'm like, isn't that petty?
Like excessively.
Like, but also like, what kind of revenge is that? I'm gonna get this son of a bitch. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call him Bob.
You know what? This asshole that's dating my ex-girlfriend, well, his friend is gonna think that I think his last name is Clark.
From it. I'm like, I think that's why I have no time for drama, because like, first of all, I went to theater school where everything was like, it was like an episode of fucking As the World Turns. You know, I know you don't know what that is, but it's a soap opera, and you understand that reference, right?
Yeah.
It was a soap opera. I lived in a soap opera for a while. Everybody was in love with the love of their life, and the breakup was the most dramatic thing ever. And then like fucking 6 months later, they're seeing somebody else and they love them.
Oh yeah. Comedy is weirdly dramatic.
Oh no, it is. It's weird. I always relate it. I kind of relate it to, because I did theater. I did specifically stage acting. You know, I did some film and everything like
Shakespeare.
that. But I did. I studied Shakespeare.
Musicals.
No, I hate musicals.
Guys and Dolls.
No.
When you see a gent paying all kinds of rent.
Guys and Dolls?
Yeah.
You were Guys and Dolls?
No. I thought you said, did you know that Guys and Dolls? I've never been in Guys and Dolls.
How do you know that song? Is that from Guys and Dolls?
Yeah.
That is. How do you know that?
Am I not supposed to know things?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm in theater and I can tell you one song that isn't. No, that's not true. I can tell you the one, but it's because it's a Sinatra song. Is Luck Be a Lady.
Oh yeah.
That's the only song I know from that. But like, and I'm not shitting. I don't shit on musicals. I just don't care for them.
Yeah.
You know. But you know, how do you know that song? Did you watch as a kid?
My brother was in Guys and Dolls one time.
There it is. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's something that's stuck in your brain.
Yeah.
I get it. If it was West Side Story, you would have been like, when you're a jet, you're a jet. But you don't know that song.
I know. I just know they walk around like this. This is how they fight. They walk around like this, and then the music goes banana, and they go.
There's a great Norm Macdonald sketch on SNL where it's like,
I know that one.
You know the one where it's like, we're gonna go rumble with the Scorpions and everything like that, and then all of a sudden they break in the dance,
and then
they finish
like,
the number, and Norm Macdonald goes,
"What are you
what
doing?
What the hell was that?
That seems so rehearsed.
Seems so rehearsed." Do you guys the whole thing? He keeps going like, "How do you guys know all this?" Oh, funny. All right, back to you. I'm sorry. I have to let the guest speak.
We're good.
Yeah, all right, man. You're also like a soft-spoken guy. And you take your time with your thoughts, so I don't want to cut you off.
Good.
See? So what made you start doing comedy?
Felt like it.
I love it.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
No, I don't. You don't. What's a good answer? My father was a comedian before me. You know, if you just decide to do it, most people, because here's what I find. I find that most people say they want to do it and never do it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't.
I've had that conversation so much. If somebody finds out that you're a comedian, they're like, "Oh, I've always wanted to do it. I don't have the courage." And they say, "You got a lot of balls."
Yeah. Well, it's half the battle. Half the battle. People, there's some people, I don't, were you afraid when you first did it?
I think I have a normal number of balls.
You gotta go back to that joke. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut that joke off.
No, it's good. I wasn't setting up for it. But I guess I was afraid to do it. Yeah, but you just keep doing it, and
did you do
now
your
it's
own
less scary.
Like some people will do like some sort of like joke that they've heard before, not necessarily a joke that another comedian has done, but something like more like a party joke. Did you have like all your own stuff?
No, I was always original, and that means that
Alex Bradley, he's original.
I'm original. And so when you start out original, usually that means that you start out quite bad. But I worked my way up. I watched so much comedy. Sometimes I would write stuff, and then I'd be like, "Wow, man, that sounds good." And then I'd watch comedy that night, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's because it's his joke. I didn't realize that." And I won't like every time. Like, now I'll like paint. Like now, when I first started out, that was like now I'm like more. You're more attentive.
I know it's my thought as opposed to somebody else's thought. Yeah. Unless it's parallel thinking, which is sometimes unavoidable.
Yeah. I feel like I've never had much of a fear of public speaking. I'll say, which it confuses me that it's such a big fear. That it's like
people are crippled by it.
Yeah. Well, the other day, I was hosting an open mic, and there was not really anybody there, and so I said like at the end, I said, "Anybody else want to go?" Like to the people at the bar. The bartender said, like Joey wants to go. And Joey's like, no. He's like, no, I'm afraid of public speaking. And I said, why are you afraid of public speaking? Tell all of us.
Get up here and tell us why you're afraid.
But nobody laughed at that.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyway,
whatever you need, you may be a niche comedian, but you're my niche comedian.
Yeah, cool.
No, I think you're funny, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends that come up to me, especially when they found out that I was like doing it. And I feel like there's always like a 6-month frame with it's maybe it's just me, but like where they have to wait around and be like, is he going to keep doing this? Now it's been like years. So everybody kind of goes, some people come up to me and be like, I'm going to try it. Now it's like, I'm going to do it. I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, and I listen. This is I encourage my friends always to be like,
Yeah.
go do it. It takes no effort. I hope nobody gets mad at me for this. It takes no effort to go start doing this. It takes it just go find. A friend of mine asked me. He was like, "Can I have you know any mics?" And I have it. I have a calendar of mics, so I just go here, and I send him the month of the month of fucking April or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh my god!" And I go, "Yeah, they're everywhere. Like it takes no effort to start doing it."
Yeah. I always feel like I don't know.
You and I had an interesting conversation about mics.
We did
at the
did
mic
we?
the other night. Yeah, you said something about how you feel like every mic is essentially useless or something like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, like this was like it's hard for me to start going to mics regularly because like when I was in school.
Yeah, when you were going to school, you said you like had like a whole schedule or some shit, right?
Yeah. And so I was originally just gonna go to mics like each night. I just thought like, does it make sense to go to a mic? And every night I was like, nah, I should be like doing work. So I realized that if I wanted to ever go to mics, it couldn't be on a case by case basis. I just had to go to every mic ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just keep doing it.
And
it's consistency.
Yeah. And each one is basically pointless, but it's like a drop in the bucket. You have to go to a lot of them to improve, I think.
Yeah. Well, I've said this before. I said it on the last episode. The one piece of advice that I got that's worked for across the board is just keep doing it. That's like I've asked, like I've gone to like the cellar and like saw like comedians I really admire, and I've like awkwardly walked up to them, been like, "Hello, my name's Joe. Do you want like a joint?" That's my icebreaker. If I give them weed, they're always like, "All right, I'll talk to this dude for a couple of seconds." And I'm like, and I just say the same thing. I'm like, "I'm doing it. Any advice?" And he goes, and they always go, "Just keep doing it. Do it so it becomes second nature." And that's what it's useless in the fact because the right like it's useless in the fact that like you're not going there to do comedy. You're going there to get better. You know what I mean? Like you go there to try stuff out and everything. It's like I know like some people will call it the gym, whatever like that. But like you're going there to get better. Like I always tell people, my friends are always like, "I'm gonna come see you at the mic." And I'm like, "Don't come to the mic.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be funny. Like I'm working these weird jokes out that have no beginning, middle. Sometimes they don't have an end. I'm hoping an inspiration will strike me up there."
My mom has tried a lot of times, has asked if she could come to mics. She's probably gonna be watching this. I
Good. I hope.
And
subscribe.
And I'd like for you to confirm for me that would be really weird. If
there's no, I tell my friends, I'm like, "Don't come." It's because Mrs. Bradley, hello, don't come to your son's mics. I don't know why you think that's a good idea. I'm sure you're a nice lady. In fact, I've definitely met you before, but like, you're not.
She likes you. She thinks you're
I
funny.
like you. I'm glad you like me, but like, don't come to your son's mics. It's pointless. It's pointless. And then, he's working out stuff that he wrote in a napkin 5 hours before this, and it may or may not work.
Thank you.
And if you're gonna laugh during it, you're gonna make all the other comedians hate him. Like that's if you're just the only one laughing at his, not really formed joke. If my mom did that, I'd be mortified. I'm just saying, stay home.
I love you, Mom. That's what he's saying. You can come if you want, but I don't know. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, I'm just. But I tell my friends that are like they text me. He's like, "I'm gonna come. What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "I'm gonna come. I'm at a mic," and he goes, "Word, I'm gonna come down." I'm like, "Listen, I'm not telling you I don't want to see you.
Yeah,
but I don't really want you here." Because I'm working stuff out. I'm trying to, and I'm like, especially the last couple of weeks, I've had like
the gym analogy works for that. Yeah. It's like if you were like a basketball player and they're like, it's like, "Hey, I got a game. You want to come see it?" It's like, "I can't make it to the game. Can I watch when you work out?"
Yeah, right. That's what it is. But because we're in entertainment, people are like, "No, but I get to watch it." And I'm like, "Nah," but it's not. It's like it's rehearsal.
Yeah.
That's in a lot of ways, man. You're figuring this shit out. And then you go home and you write maybe a sentence more or nothing. And then you go to bed. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, "That works." I did that a couple times. That was weird. Where I was like, I just woke up and I'm like, "Oh, that's what the fuck it is." I changed a whole joke recently that I've been doing for 3 years because of that. I think it's better.
Yeah.
It's darker, but it's better. But like, yeah, and as far as writing process goes, like, what is do you write out? I'll write out the whole joke. I'll very rarely do it as it's written, but I need to see it, and then I tweak it. The rest gets tweaked in my head.
Yeah,
not that I'm a genius. It's just what works for me.
I think that I'll definitely short jokes I'll write out and I'll retype them a lot, like one-liner type jokes. But I think that with longer bits, I talk through them.
So you kind of just go up there.
I know, like I pace in private. I'll pace around and I'll just tell it a bunch, and I just imagine all the people laughing super hard at it, and then once I work it out, I start to write it down.
I do this at the end.
And I'm like, no, stop. You're laughing too much. It's too much laughter.
I pretend I'm getting pelted with roses. Oh my God, this is too much.
Oh my God.
Somebody comes up and hands me an Oscar.
I can't marry you. I don't even know you.
Yeah, I'll take the HBO special. Yeah.
Yeah. But that part usually doesn't end up in the final performance. But
how do you feel you've been doing lately as far as getting better and working on your stuff and like getting like an act together?
I've been going through I've been really like trying to improve the past year, and so I've been going through phases that I've made up. Of like a few months ago, I was trying to write 5 jokes a day, like one-liners.
You're doing almost like I call it a comedy diet. It's the same thing where it's like I'm gonna eat this sandwich on this day, blah blah. And then you say to yourself like I'm gonna write 5 jokes a day, or I'm gonna write 1 joke every day of this week.
Yeah, and so I was so doing that and really overanalyzing it and being really picky about the words and stuff, um, and not worrying too much about presentation or delivery. And so now, and I feel like I've done that enough, and I feel like I'm annoying about it. So I feel like now I'm trying to like let loose and try
Presentation
to
and
just
delivery.
write longer bits and stuff
Yeah.
and see if all that technique remains. You know what I'm saying?
It's like I just think it's all it's pretty fucking. That's a great answer, man. That's really cool because I mean that shows to me that because wording and phrasing and sometimes even certain words are just funnier than others, and that's
Yeah.
when you get like I guess so that's when you start breaking down comedy, like really breaking it down.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of The Simpsons, and like me and my buddy Lou will we'll talk about a particular joke and talk about how layered it is, like and how they'll do like a tag, like a scene later on that joke. And
It's now that you say the layers,
yeah,
like I guess I've been thinking about comedy for a while because I remember like being like a kid and thinking about the like dimensions of a joke, like
why is something funny? Like because of
but it's like most jokes are like built on like connections between things.
Yeah, especially in film, which is probably what you're referring to.
No, I mean like jokes.
You mean like joke jokes?
Like a lot of popsicle stick jokes
like
will
joke
just
jokes.
be like one dimension.
Yeah, well, it's like
where it's just like one thing sounds
what
like
did the
another thing.
Stegosaurus say to the field mouse or whatever the fuck? Nothing. It fucking ate it or some shit like that.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting joke because that's like an anti joke.
Yeah,
but like you'll get really basic jokes where it's just like what do you call the spaghetti that's pretending to be something else, an impasta. And then that's like a really like 2-dimensional joke because it's
dad jokes. That's what's referred to as dad jokes now.
Yeah, but there's just the only thing in it is the word imposter kind of sounds like pasta.
Yeah, it's it. It's not.
That's the whole joke. So it's just like the 2 dimensions. It's just like but then you get more complex jokes, which I wish I had an example of a more complex joke.
Well, you mean
but I do
more
not.
complex party joke like that?
I think
there are more complex party jokes.
Yeah, in party jokes, but
there's usually more storytelling with it. Like there's usually a setup with it. Like even if it's a dirty joke, it's like an old couple sitting in church, or there's you do a whole thing where the story. It's like jokes used to be nothing funny in between, and then a big punchline at the end. It was all set up. So I guess you could say like party jokes. That's what a party joke is. It's layered because it's not really layered. It's about the story to get, and then there's the anti-version of that. Norm Macdonald used to do the Shaggy Dog thing. It's like the anti-long story, but it's just no punchline. But the joke is that you were really into the storytelling aspect of it.
I mean, it obviously gets more complicated, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good joke. That's a real good joke.
That's layered.
I don't know, like Mitch Hedberg says, this is just like his famous joke. I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too.
Oh well, yeah. Well, here's one that I like. I wrote a screenplay and I gave it to a guy who reads screenplays, and he said that he really liked it, but that I should rewrite it. I said, "Fuck that! I'll just make a copy."
Yeah.
And his longest stuff, the bears and frogs one, Smacky the Bear. It's the first Mitch Hedberg joke I ever heard was the bear, the Smacky the Frog, as opposed to Smokey the Bear. He's like, I like having frogs around. I prefer frogs over bears because when frogs come around, I don't have to hang my fucking lunch from a tree. And it was. True. Simple.
It's never scary.
No.
Never scary when a frog approaches you. You're like, hey, look at that frog.
It's like, all right.
I might put you in a box with a leaf.
Simulate your actual environment. We're just going to do Mitch Hedberg fucking bits all day because it's the funniest.
Speaking of Mitch Hedberg, you mentioned that I
you have
remind me of Mitch Hedberg.
I'm not saying that
I've heard that a lot. And I'm curious do I sound too much like Mitch Hedberg? Because I definitely don't try to, but then I'm afraid that I
No, you don't
sound like
do
I'm
the
intimidating him,
you don't do the sort of stoner
imitating.
thing, but you have like there's a lackadaisical nature to you that
Okay.
like definitely speaks Hedberg to me. I used to get Dennis Leary all the time. I've
Oh.
actually tried to get away from that. That's why I don't. If you notice, a lot of my sets, I don't fucking like yell as much. I just try to because this is me too. You know what I mean? And I want to bring more of that. I don't want to be a caricature of myself. Is a big thing. And
Gotcha.
what I like about your stuff, and because Mitch, you also got the sense that was Mitch. You didn't. Like it was his act, but that's who he was.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's kind of he was this shy guy. And I think Sirius Radio did like an audio documentary about him. They had a bunch of comedians interviewed, telling stories about him. It was really cool on Sirius XM. And like he was like a shy dude. He was funny as shit though. So that's what I mean by you is like I see what your act is, and it's you. Like that's
Good.
I mean,
I'm glad to hear that.
you know, there's a lot of guys out there that are not that. My favorite comedians are always the ones that are sort of really themselves up there. I mean, you know, people used to do so much more schlocky, sticky stuff in like the 80s and 90s.
I actually feel like a lot of people will try to like talk like a comedian, and I think that that's
What is talking
advantageous.
like a comedian? I think I know what you're talking about. I just want to see what.
I mean, there's lots of different ways to do it, and you'll see like.
Boy, what a great audience! How's everybody doing tonight? Right? Oh my god!
And then some people try to do it in a more modern way. You know what I mean?
Well, they do.
And then they sort of just, you know, it's
There's
sort
the
of just
everything
watered
sucks
down.
aspect. It was like, oh, what the fuck good is it? There's that comedian.
Yeah.
Then there's the there was a dude at the mic recently that was like standard late night comedian type, like that had and they left right after.
Yeah.
But his act was very like, I'm like, I feel like this was it's like paint by numbers comedy sometimes.
And then
to
you
me.
see like the older guys will end up talking like Rodney Dangerfield or George Carlin always.
Yeah, at a certain point, that's because that's usually their big influences.
Yeah, so I feel like you got to try. Like I understand. Like I definitely understand the urge to try and. I read something David Mitchell said. Do you know who David Mitchell is?
I do not.
He's a British comedian. He's not a stand-up.
Again, I'm not really.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like a writer.
Yeah, and an actor and stuff.
Okay, maybe I've seen him and stuff because I watch a lot of British TV.
Cool. He's pretty
weirdo.
recognizable. But he wrote in his autobiography, he complained about like some sketch show that was. I won't tell the whole story. Well, I will actually.
Just I'm listening to you, brother.
These kids were gonna name this when he was in college. These kids were gonna name this sketch show Colin, and it was supposed to be a joke that's a name for a person and not a sketch show. And the people said like that's too weird. People aren't gonna get it. We should call it some wood and a pie, which in Britain would sort of be like a typical kind of name for like a quirky college kids sketch show.
Okay.
And he goes on this whole rant about how I wish I could quote it because it's not really any point in me just trying to evoke what he said, but he goes on this rant about how that's such a terrible decision because some wood in a pie, you know, it doesn't mean anything. Nobody ever believed in it. And, you know, Colin might be a bad name for a sketch show and people might not get it, but at least there's something to get, you know, is his rant. And there's that urge, I think, with comedy a lot to try and make it something that people are gonna get. But if you try to make it for the people that you imagine wanting to hear it, then you lose, you know, whatever it is to you. Then like what's the point of it if it's not something that you wanted to say? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was heady. I mean, no, I see exactly what you're saying in that because I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you're trying.
I don't think the example of the
I think
sketch
you got a
show
little
helped.
long-winded on
I
the
don't think it
example,
helped
but
at all.
I see the point of what you're. I see the point.
I didn't know where to come in. Okay.
All right, no, and I'm going to check that out because that's interesting to me. I think basically, correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you're trying to say is that, you know, just because it's easily accessible doesn't make it like the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, and you run the risk
because it's so bland. I mean, it's not funny.
Here's what it is: if you try to make what you think people will want,
that's it. That's what. Yeah.
If you make what you want and people will like it or not, and it's what you want. But then if you try to make what you think people want and they don't like it, then like what were you doing? You know what I mean?
Well, I can I know exactly what you're saying
Yeah.
because you know who Frank Zappa is? You ever heard of Frank Zappa?
Yeah.
Okay, so Frank Zappa, I always like to fucking smoke weed and watch Frank Zappa interviews because he's just like the fucking, his view on the music industry is crazy and he says outlandish shit in interviews and he's like a real interesting dude. But he said this one quote one time and he was talking about the state of the music industry at the time. And he said, basically in a nutshell, what he said was like when, you know, a long time ago, when people started doing new things with music and the people in charge of the music industry at that time said, I don't know what this is, but let's put it up and see if it works. And then it worked. And then all those young kids that started out, you know, all of a sudden now run the industry. And now what they're saying is now more people coming in with doing different stuff. But they're going, it's like, no. I know what the people want. We're going to put that out there. We're not going to do this new thing. I already know it works. And that's exactly to your point is the same thing.
I mean, and you see that with like, you know, the movie industry now, like a lot of people complain about it, like being like they play things too safe. And it's like, you know,
they do. I still enjoy it.
I mean, it might be good. Like they do a great job of it. They're all professionals or whatever. I mean, but sometimes wouldn't you rather see something original that you've never seen before that you may or may not like than just like another
no one wants to take the chance
adaptation?
Anymore.
Like you already know what happens in The Lion King. You don't need to see what would that be like if there were real lions.
But
like it doesn't really
Disney hasn't made an actual movie in a while, at least not like that. But they've just been basically like they do their CGI stuff. You know, and they just did the one about. Didn't they do one about a girl having a period? Wasn't that the whole thing with the
people say that it was an analogy for that turning red?
Whatever, if it is, I mean, it probably is. They usually try to do something clever like that.
That was original.
It is cool. I didn't watch it.
A lot of people complain it's you know about this like it's about this like Asian like preteen girl.
Okay,
and a lot of people complain that it wasn't relatable. A lot of white guys complain that it wasn't relatable. I just find that funny. It's like why would you make a movie about an Asian woman? Who could relate to that? Like,
it's also a double-edged sword because if it had been anything else, they would have accused it of being like, oh, there's not enough diversity in this film. So if you do, you're gonna get yelled. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Type shit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't give a shit. Put anybody in the role. That's the point of movies. Anybody can be an actor. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, my point being is Disney hasn't made an original fucking movie. They've just remade. I mean, it started with Cinderella, which nobody saw except for like 5 people, and then they kept doing it with Beauty and the Beast. All these, they just were like, we're just gonna do live action versions, and I'm like, is this new? And I go, they're like, no, we didn't really do anything different. It's just the same movie.
Yeah,
but like, you know, with no songs. The Mulan movie was pretty cool. The Mulan movie was pretty cool.
I thought you don't like musicals.
No, but like, what's the point?
Oh yeah.
What's the point? Like you're no one cares because the plot was never that interesting.
Nobody's watching Cinderella like, whoa, this is.
But that's what I mean. The plot was never that interesting.
The pumpkin just turned into a carrot.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, we have more Iron Man's a real thing for us. We don't give a shit about it. Look at the pumpkin turned into a carrot. You know, that's my point. Like I get it from unless they change. I know for the most of them though, like the Lion King one.
How does Cinderella end?
She married to get married. It's the most stereotypical ending in the world.
Isn't that weird? Because she didn't.
Then they made 3 sequels where they're like didn't really go that well.
I feel like they didn't really know each other that well.
Yeah, that's my point that's why I rail against marriage.
They just like they were there like they had a couple of nights together. And she was like
night together
in a disguise too.
A night? No, she wasn't even in a disguise. Her hair was just up.
Yeah, but she was pretending to be rich and whatever.
Yeah, she was pretending to be rich. Yeah,
I'd like to see a sequel where
they did.
It did.
Cinderella 2 and 3.
I'd like to see the marriage not work out.
Yeah,
did they do that?
Cinderella 3 annulment.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like, yeah, you're right. There's none of the original stuff. What you have to do now is you have to do fresh takes on stuff that we're familiar with.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I think the Batman was so successful because you have to do fresh takes. It was a fresh take on the character. It's like, we've already seen the Nolan and the superhero version and we've saw superhero movies. Yeah. So they were like, let's do something different, you know?
I mean, what I've said is that Batman movies keep getting darker and darker.
Yeah, you're right. It's also a dark character, though.
But
remember in '89 where everybody's like, "That's dark."
I know, but my thing though is they keep getting darker and darker. Yeah. But there's the one thing that they can't change about Batman.
What's that?
Because it's essential to who he is.
Yeah, what's that?
Still a dude dressed as a bat.
Yeah.
No matter how serious it is, no matter how terrible Gotham is, no matter what he goes through, just a dude with little bat ears.
You know, Joe List. You know who that is?
Yeah.
He just did a special
Yeah.
And he was talking about the Batman in it, and he goes, I liked it. He's like, just one thing I would have changed about it. For once, I just want to see Batman answer a phone like this. Hello? it's exactly that. I'm like, what? The ears.
Yeah.
You know?
What is the point of that, though?
To look like a bat. He's Batman.
Well, why?
In the Nolan movies, this is going to make me
You know what? Have they ever shown him deciding to dress like a bat?
Yeah.
They have?
Yeah, they've done it in the animated series movie where he like designs the costume and then like a bat. In the comics, what happens is
I want to see the conversation with Alfred.
He says, "I shall become a bat." He has a conversation with Alfred. That's exactly what happens.
For real?
In the comics,
if I was Alfred in that situation, and Bruce Wayne was like, somebody's got to clean up Gotham, and I'm gonna be the one to do it, and I'm gonna be dressed like a bat. I'd be like, what was that? That's called Master Wayne. I'm gonna be dressed like a bat. What do you mean dressed like a bat, Master Wayne?
You're doing the Michael Caine one. I like it.
I have it. All black cape, tiny little bat ears. What's the point? What purpose would that serve, Master Wayne? I'm gonna be dressed like a bat. Gonna call my car the Batmobile. And I'm gonna talk like this. I'm Batman. Just seems,
all right, your money, you do what you want with it. Fucking spoiled weirdo.
I support you all the way, Master.
Yeah, he does. But in the comics, this is what happens. He's trying to find the image, and then like a bat flies through his window and like comes in the room, and he like gets the idea by the bat, which they mimic in Batman Begins. But in Batman Begins, so you see, and literally the line is so corny because comics back then they were like, no, this is great writing, and they're like, this is like, I shall forge. So he's like, he literally says, I've got it. I shall become a bat. Right, Chris? Am I wrong? That's exactly what he says. I shall become a bat. It literally, as absurd as you think the conversation in your head is, I assure you, if you read the comic, it's even more absurd. Yeah, right? You're like, man, I just thought he decided to be Batman.
Yeah.
And then in the Nolan verse, they were like, bats scared him.
Okay.
So he was afraid of bats and he wants to strike fear into criminals. So in the Nolan verse of Punchy Batman.
So if I were to become a superhero, I would be Heights Man.
You just have like stilt
just
legs.
have a ladder.
Like,
Jackie Chan style.
You use your fear against your opponents. You're like, climb this ladder. What? Climb this ladder? No, exactly. Climb the ladder, and you push them up the ladder. I don't want to be up here. I know.
Somebody's like mugging somebody in a dark alley, and then they hear, and they see a ladder.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta have your sidekick his step stool.
Step stool.
My sidekick step stool. I'm Alex Bradley, ladder man. Why? Ladders frightened me as a child. I was afraid of heights. Why not height man? Come on, that's ridiculous. Height man? Come on. Oh man, ladder man is great.
Ladder man.
That was Batman's whole logic behind that shit. I love the character, but I agree. I'm like, it's fucking ridiculous. That's why I get mad at anything anymore. I'm like, it's a fucking ridiculous character. Look at him. It's cool, but like, come on. What are you mad about? It's the same thing we were talking about before. It's like it's like, oh, this is an Asian girl in this. I can't identify with that. I don't think you're supposed to, dude. I don't think you're supposed to.
Well, some people are supposed to.
Yeah, but like, white males probably aren't, right?
You know what? That reminds me of the Star Wars, The Last Jedi. People got really mad about.
I like that movie.
Yeah,
I did.
I thought it was good.
I didn't really like the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, let me take that back. I thought they were going to do something new. I appreciate that movie now because I'm like, all right, you had to make that Star Wars movie because...
I mean, maybe that's the complaint about, you try to just please everybody instead of trying to make something original.
I think that's what it is because that was basically New Hope. But I get it.
It can only be like so good,
Yeah, but it's still fun.
All right. Yeah, it's entertaining.
It's got the member berries aspect going for it, the nostalgia aspect, which I admit I like.
Yeah, but anyway, Last Jedi, they had Admiral Holdo was like the she's like a lady with like purple hair. She was like the admiral.
It's Lord Garden.
Yeah, and people got really mad about that. They're like Admiral Akbar should have been the admiral. This is so ridiculous. You have this. What the hell? Like this looks so stupid. You have a.
Oh my god! How long has it been off for?
Okay. Oh.
Sorry. My back?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, people
sorry, technical difficulties.
People saying
I'm an idiot.
Admiral Akbar should have been the admiral, and you have this lady with purple hair.
That was their fucking beef.
They said lady with purple hair. That's so ridiculous. You think that it's more ridiculous that a woman with purple hair would be an admiral than a giant squid man? You think it's weirder for a woman to be in the military than a squid person.
I mean, but like, also, you have to remember, like, anytime anybody says anything, I just turn to them and I go, Star Wars isn't real.
Yeah.
None of this is real. It can be whatever it wants to be.
Yeah.
You know why? Because George Lucas made it up. He made up all did none of these, and that's the sycophant thing I was talking about before, where I'm like, the Batman thing where I'm like, I don't get mad. I used to get mad at shit, so I used to be such a fucking angry nerd.
Yeah.
And then, like, I just read it. I'm like, why do I give a shit? First of all, I get so much Batman stuff all the time. I get more Batman stuff than I probably should have, but I don't care. You know why? I love Batman stuff. I love it.
I love Batman.
I love Batman stuff. That's what I mean.
But
that's what I mean. I just started enjoying the content that I was getting instead of bitching about it, because eventually they're going to make something that I love more than anything.
You know what I saw people saying? What was that? The Queen's Gambit?
Chess show.
Yeah, about this girl who becomes a professional chess champion.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody complaining like, oh, so she's basically just like, Bobby Fischer or whatever, but they made her a female.
Wasn't it based on a true story? Wasn't the Queen's Gambit based?
No, it's based on a novel.
Oh, it's a novel.
But they're complaining. They're like, oh, so basically you had to make up a woman to be a female chess champion. It's like, yeah, it's a story. That's how they work.
This isn't a real story.
I don't get the complaint.
It's not a complaint. It's just people like to. I've also said people love the bitch. It doesn't matter. You could make and like particularly when it comes to any form of art in any way, shape, or form. Like, you make good art if everybody goes, that's nice. Collectively, we all agree that we like that.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to remember that fucking thing. But if you get like people that are like decisive or like on the fence about, or like, I don't fucking like that, or they think it sucks, but then there's another group of people that's like, I love it. Then there's something worth talking about.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, it doesn't make the arguments valid. I'm just saying, but yeah, that's dumb. Of course. Like, what? Who cares? It's not real. None of this is real. Yeah. It can be whatever it wants to be, you know what I mean? And like the fact that you think it can only be one way means you have a limited imagination. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
you hear that,
fuck
people?
You.
I want to talk to the camera. You hear that? Idiots. Is this good podcast content? Is that good?
Thank God we have cameras. If it was just audio, it'd be the worst content ever. I really let you milk that one. You want to do that?
Yeah, I really didn't. I really thought you were going to cut me off, and I didn't know how to keep it going.
Nah, that's all right, man. So we talked about writing a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was really. I want to go back to breaking down jokes because we got off topic, but
okay.
I want to go back to that a little bit. When you're because you're starting to do more long form stuff, right? Don't give me your inside the actor studio thing. Yes.
Yes.
Do that. We're gonna talk about Johnny Depp forever. Don't.
Got you.
I can't stop watching this shit.
I saw the last episode.
Oh yeah, I can't stop watching this shit.
Yeah. Okay. What are you saying? Writing.
No, we're on Johnny Depp. Anyway, Amber Heard. About writing and everything. When you're doing more long form stuff, are you just worried about telling the story, or do you worry about joke, and then punchline?
I think that I definitely try to make sure that it's full of jokes, because a lot of people get into it and they think they watch like, John Mulaney or Dave Chappelle or whatever, and they're like, oh, he's just telling a story, so I'm just going to get up there and tell a story. But it's generally those like conversational, like storytelling comedians have a lot of jokes that are well disguised as stories. You know what I mean?
Time to develop the thing,
or they're stories that are really full of jokes.
Some people are very natural storytellers. Like there's one, like crowd work is a lot of that. Like,
I like crowd work.
I've been trying to do more of it. I did a restaurant show last night actually, and on Riverhead called the Sound Avenue Bistro. Yeah.
I dropped off the equipment for that show.
You did. Yeah. That's right. And it was packed. A lot of people.
You're welcome.
What's that?
You're welcome.
Oh no! And I said at the beginning of my set, I'm like, I'd like to thank Alex Bradley with whom all things are possible. It was a good show. Oh shit! Damn, you distracted me. What was I getting
to? Crowd work.
Oh yeah, doing crowd work. I did this. I have a joke where I ask if there's anybody who's married or recently engaged or just engaged in the crowd. You know what I mean? And that usually with a room like that, I'm like, oh, somebody will raise their hand or I'll get a no. And I have it back. You've seen me say it where I'm like, nobody cool. Fuck it. This joke's about them. And it works.
Yeah.
But I got crickets. And I was just like, okay, can I explain to everybody how crowd work works? I say something and then you say something back and then I say something funny. We're going to try that again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And it was like, because it was just about to like, I like doing crowd work. I like talking.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be that person that's like, I'm going to go up there and just do crowd work. Cause I've met some comedians like that. And I'm like, don't do that, man.
Yeah.
Cause I've been doing it for 5 years and I've just started to do crowd work now.
Same, like a few months ago.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I think it's about comfortability. Maybe I need to fill time. It's a good way to fill time if maybe I think I'm a little short for the night.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes discover some really fucking cool stuff by doing it.
Oh yeah. I definitely do it when I feel like people aren't really into it. And then they can't. They have to be if you're talking to them. So, and people are really easily impressed if you like
can make them laugh.
Like if you can come up with anything clever. Like the bar's like ridiculously low for crowd work. I feel like
I would say that completely.
Yeah.
But when it works, you get like sometimes you get like a whole new bit out of it.
You know, like I've mentioned it before, but one of my favorite comedians does his name's Big J Ogerson. He does like 2 albums where it's just him doing crowd work.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We had some technical difficulties, so we cut out. Don't worry about it. We're gonna try to pick up where we left off. Alex is still here.
Hi,
still
everybody.
Happy.
I love
got
you.
A few more minutes left. We were talking about writing before, right?
Maybe.
Oh God.
Were we?
What's that?
Crowd work.
So how do you how do you feel about starting to do crowd work and everything like that?
It's fun. I definitely got to write crowd worky jokes.
There's like little bits that you have to have in your
This
pocket.
is really stupid, but I was gonna try to write a joke about like every topic. Just think about everything that might come up in crowd work and write a mediocre joke about everything.
Alex, I love that you don't smoke weed, but that's like the most high statement I've ever heard in my life. Where you're just like, I'm just gonna write a joke
about everything
and everybody.
I just have like a joke dictionary, you know what I'm saying? I open it up to the word heady and there's a joke about it, you know what I mean?
Do you know what the word heady means? Well, in the Urban Dictionary.
People often tell me that I seem high. People believe that I'm high.
You have a very stoner-like demeanor about you.
Yeah. I started getting that in high school.
You don't smoke at all.
I've smoked a couple times, but
you don't really, like
no.
You don't have to shut the voices up.
What?
Exactly.
See, I don't even know what that means. That's how little I
doesn't matter. I can't hear them right now. It's good.
Oh, cool.
But it's funny. Everybody's asking me, it's like, do you get any other people that you smoke with on there? And I'm like, not really. But that's again, it's really just about me being high and talking to people. Like it's not really about like if somebody comes on, like I have to, I'll do like a video of us smoking and be like, oh, soon.
You're the Millennial Stoner.
I am the Millennial Stoner.
I'm neither a Millennial nor a
Gen
Stoner.
Zer, right?
I'm a Gen Z Zoomer style.
I like you Gen Zers, but a lot of Gen Zers don't like me, which is weird.
I feel the same way.
A lot of Gen Zers, do you feel like your own people don't like you? I betrayed. A lot of them don't like. I got a lot of shit. I got some shit from people for the Chris Rock thing, the Will Smith Chris, because I was like, I don't think Chris Rock deserved to get slapped, and a lot of people were like, you don't believe in defending women? I'm like, I don't think that's what this is about at all.
I hate people making everything into like a political thing.
Yeah,
like on Facebook, it was all just full of like all these different takes about Chris Rock. It's like
I didn't post anything. I said one thing. I said I'm just upset no one said welcome to Earth, and that's all I said. And then I watched everybody post paragraphs about
come up with opinions with conflicts between multiple people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I was just trying to make a joke about what I thought was pretty funny when I saw it.
Yeah, whatever.
Somebody legit asked me, it's like, what do you think? I'm like, I mean, I don't think Chris Rock deserved to get slapped. And everybody got real mad. Not everybody got real mad at me, but some people were like, I don't believe that. And I don't think that you should believe that. And I'm like, whatever. That's cool. We'll stop the conversation.
I wish that people would slap each other more. That's my take.
Yeah. Just like dual, like.
Hey, whatever happened to slapping? People can't slap each other anymore. What's next? People can't even high five. Bring back slapping.
You heard it here, folks. Alex Bradley. Bring back slapping. I think we're going to start slapping everybody. Normalize slapping.
Normalize slap.
Normalize slapping.
Hashtag normalize slapping.
Hashtag normalize slapping. If you have a problem with the grocery guy, slap the shit out of him.
This is the new social cause.
And then he'll slap you. And then you walk away.
Forget about the left, the right,
Yeah.
political correct, social justice. Slap people.
I'll catch you on the slap side. That's the side that we're on.
Yeah.
I said I'm not political, except for right now.
You're either with us or you're getting slapped by
Yeah.
us.
You're either with us or slap.
Hey, if you're against slapping, good. Try to fight back. Slap, slap, slap.
Oh, man. Vote slap 2023.
Slap. The slap party.
The slap party 2023. That's what this episode's probably going to get named.
What election is 2023?
The slap party election. We got to get voted into the new. We have to have a seat at the debate table.
Starting a new country.
Yeah. No. We got to get a seat at the debate. We got to be able to at least be on the ballot.
Yeah.
So you're going to represent, because I feel like you're, I'll get nervous. I'm not good at political stuff. I feel like you'll be better. And you just have to slap it. That's right. What's the debate?
You got bigger hands.
But then I won't say anything. It'll just be like, what do you feel about the economy? And I just
We
slap
don't
the guy
have to
across.
say anything.
Just walk across and I slap Joe Biden or whatever, and I'm like, now Mr. Biden can slap me, and that's our party. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Then moderator disagrees, I slap the moderator.
I think a lot of people are dissatisfied with government, and I think that this is the answer.
Yeah, start slapping everybody. Start slapping.
Yeah.
But like, that's it. Nothing beyond the slap.
Yeah.
Because you'll feel good after you slap somebody.
Yeah. Except they won't.
No, they won't. Actually, we should stop this. This is going to lead to more coups.
Yeah, guess I didn't think it through.
Dude, I was surprised. I get. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but this is something I want to tell you. I did. You know how I changed the. My Coors Light joke, right?
Yeah.
I changed the ending where it's just like you feel like storming the Capitol right now.
Yeah.
I killed in a room full of Republicans the other night, and I was just like, awesome! Like, it was great, man. I'll do it. Thank you, thank you, man. I was just like, I thought you were gonna get real mad at that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. As far as like, what do you feel about because you're starting to play a couple different venues now, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about like some of the different venues and?
I like the ones with people, and I like it when they're listening. My bar is pretty low.
Yeah.
Right now.
Because some people are like, because I've started to kind of like, oh, that's a good room. Like Mohican Sun's been pretty good. Comics Roadhouse has been a pretty good thing to do.
Yeah.
When I go there with John and everything.
It's so nice having a big crowd.
Yeah. Did you get a big crowd when you went there?
Yeah, it was all right. It was like a few hundred people, something.
What's that? Wrap it up. Oh, wait. Yep. Sorry, I didn't see the clock. Gotta wrap it up.
Okay.
Probably cut this last 6 minutes anyway. You have shows you want to plug, man?
Yeah, hold on. I got a list. Let me get this list out.
All right. I'm going to vamp.
Pulling up the list.
He's pulling up the list.
All right.
Look
Should
at
I
the
say
camera.
into the
Now
camera?
look at that camera right there, and you give everybody your plugs.
Alex Bradley will be performing at Oh, no. I was about to say the date.
We're going to
Alex
take it
Bradley.
again.
Alex Bradley will be performing at Red Zone in Babylon, New York on May 7th. Professor's Cafe in some other town, May 16th. Broadway Comedy Club, New York City, May 25th. I'm just saying locations and dates, and it seems ambiguous as to what goes with what. But Parsnips Lake, no, not Parsnips Lake, Parsnips in Lake Ronkonkoma, May 26th. St. Joseph's College, Claire Rose Playhouse, June 3rd. Come through. DM me for the details. Wink.
Anyway, let's see here. I've got my next shows are going to be May 13th, Walton, New York, Castle on the Delaware. I'm going to be there with Uncle Terry and the Funky Bunch, Fat Jay and Billy Guyer. And then the next day, May 14th, we're going to be at the Keystone stage in Oliphant, Pennsylvania. Again, Funky Bunch, me, Fat Jay, and Uncle Terry's headlining with also Billy Guyer. And then May 20th, we're coming back home to Long Island. We're going to be at McGuire's. And then June 9th, Stereo Garden in Patchogue, man. That's a big venue, so please come down to that. We're trying to fill that place up, okay? A lot of great comedians on that one. So, yeah, those are my plugs. Please come and support me. And if you're Liquid Death, I really like your water and sponsor me. That's it.
Support this man. He's a funny comedian.
You support this man. This man's a funny comedian, too.
He performs all over Long Island, all over New York City.
And let me tell you, Alex Bradley's no slouch either. He performs all over Long Island and all over New York City.
They said that the first time they ever brought me up.
And I'm like, I haven't been nowhere.
Yeah, and my goal is to make my introduction true.
All right, well, here's to you getting your introduction to be true. Thanks for coming on, man. Did you have a good time?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here. It was a great time.
All right. Was your first podcast ever?
I feel like a podcast expert now.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into Millennial Stoner. Please like, share, and subscribe. Once I get a few more.
Millennial Stoner.
It's the Millennial Stoner. All right, guys. Goodbye.